you can't tell, this is a very special episode of the podcast. We're in person.
Face reveal.
Face reveal. Oh my god. Do you think there's people who are
I think
never seen our
so.
faces before?
I think so. I think people on your side, like people who watch you from your
Yeah.
YouTube channel, have never seen me.
Yeah, that's an wow.
This
huge.
is me.
Also height reveal.
Uh,
I don't know if you can tell we're sitting down though, because I have a very short torso.
Yeah.
But Jess is very small. in case you're wondering.
Well, we could do like oh no, we can't. Like
Yeah.
stand up and do a height comparison.
Yeah. Or maybe this is actually tiny.
Yeah, this is like the size of my head, probably.
Yeah. Maybe from the mic you can tell how tiny Jess is as a human. But yes, we are on vacation. We're in Vienna.
We're in Vienna together.
Jess actually planned this whole holiday. I just kind of showed up. You did all the hard work.
Well, I think I did the hard work planning it, but like being here, I've not done much work. I feel like I've left all the work for all the other people. Like I've done my part.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, beautiful Airbnb though that we're staying in.
Yeah,
you can't tell from this white wall.
I mean, it's a good living room. It's very spacious, and it's snowing also.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day. It's snowing.
Yeah,
it was kind of gross
Christmassy.
yesterday, but mostly it's been nice.
Yeah,
the whole time we've been here.
it's been nice, and the Christmas markets have been wonderful.
I can't believe there's a Christmas market like on every block.
Yeah,
like you know that it's gonna be Christmassy, but it's like literally.
it's like
every
it's
block.
like the place for Christmas.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Maybe they slowly became very popular for their Christmas markets, and now they're everywhere.
Yeah, they just know tourists
Yeah.
will flock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
No,
if
it's
you've
great.
never been to Vienna, definitely come in during Christmas. I think because like
Yeah.
even the main attractions that have Christmas markets, so it's like you can see the main attraction or like the main building or whatever, and then you can also
Yeah.
hang out at the Christmas market. And
Yeah, there's one outside
yeah.
the palace.
yeah,
Like, that
there's one
is-
at the palace.
yeah.
There's one in front of the city hall. There's one in front of the museum. There's one like
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
No,
really
it's
fun.
beautiful. It's great. Yeah, we're here with a couple friends from
Yeah.
Twitch. That we
Online
met.
friends, all of them.
Yeah, it's crazy, but still hanging out. Like two
Yeah.
years later. Yeah, so a decent group of us, and it's been fun. We
Yeah.
thought might as well record an in-person podcast.
Yeah, for the first time and maybe not the last time.
No, yeah, I
not
think
the last
we might
time.
as well, like every TwitchCon or something, record one.
Oh, that would be nice.
That would be quite fun.
Yeah.
From various dingy hotel rooms,
Yeah.
wherever we are in the world.
Oh, that would be funny. Like every time we get a worse hotel room.
Yeah, like you can tell we're getting poorer by the day.
Yeah.
Hopefully, TwitchCon is in Barcelona next
There
year.
are rumors that it's going to be in Barcelona. I don't know how
That would be
true
great.
those rumors are, but it would be great.
I will melt, but
You will melt, but also it's great. It's
Yeah.
sunny. It's fun. I'm going to be there. So I'm
Exactly,
going to fresh up your experience.
exactly. It'll be worth it because you'll be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we wanted to do kind of a different podcast today. So there's no like game theme. We're gonna be doing like more like talking a bit about how we met, about online friendships in general, how kind of games have brought us together, I guess, and the community. And we do have some gaming news to chat about though,
Yeah,
before
especially-
we get to that
Yeah.
section. Which is very exciting. So should we jump right in and finally talk about the Game Award
The
nominees?
Game Awards, yeah.
I feel like we mentioned this like every podcast. Like we'll talk about that one day.
Yeah, we'll talk
It's
about
finally
that one
happened.
day, and it's finally
Yeah.
here. It's finally out. I think the nominees came out very few days after we recorded the last episode.
Yeah, I think so too. I think I was like, damn it.
Yeah,
But,
we missed it
yeah.
just by a few days.
This might be our last like
Podcast of the year.
to be honest. So that would
Yeah,
be
probably.
a good topic to end on. But yes,
Yeah.
the game nominees have been released. Let me just check my phone so I can get the accurate ones. Obviously for the indies specifically, for Game of the Year, Best Independent Game, the nominees are Cocoon.
Cocoon, yeah, that's the bot game, right?
Yeah, I had never really heard of it until
Oh, I
the
heard.
nomination.
I remember watching the trailer of it a few months back, but I've never. I didn't play it. It didn't really catch my attention that much. But apparently, it's really good.
So is it? What kind of game is it?
I think it's like a little bit like a puzzle game and adventure game and kind of
okay.
like action game.
Is it scary?
No, not scary.
Oh.
I don't think so.
I don't know why the name Cocoon sounds scary to me.
No, it's just like it's about bugs.
It's
And-
Annapurna. I didn't know that. Huh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Interesting. I'll have to check that one out because I had no clue about it. Dredge,
Dredge,
obviously.
which is a favorite of mine this
Yeah,
year.
I think
Yeah.
that'll probably win, but
Or Viewfinder, I feel
yeah.
like.
So the other one is Viewfinder, and then Sea of Stars.
Sea of
Which, good on Sea of
Stars.
Stars. That is a fantastic game. I'm
You
glad.
played that one.
Yeah, it's really good. And then finally, controversially, Dave the
Dave the
Diver
Diver.
has been nominated.
Yeah. And there are
Um,
also other indie game categories
yes,
like
there is another one that is, I think,
Debut, yeah. Indie
which was a
Debut.
couple that I was very excited to see on this. So Cocoon and Dredge again.
Yeah. And Venba
Venba, yeah,
is
Venba,
there.
huge.
I'm really glad. I'm really happy.
Um,
And it repeats category this year because it's also nominated for Impact.
Impact, yes, I was
Yeah.
gonna say, and also Terra Nil, which is another
Terra
really good one I
Nil.
played this year for
Yeah.
sure.
And then Tia is also nominated for
Tachia,
Impact.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Which I know you love.
a decent showing of cozy games, I think,
Yeah.
to be honest. Pizza Tower is also nominated
Pizza
for debut, but I
Tower.
don't know that one.
It's the one oh no. I was thinking about a possum pizza. Pizza possum.
Oh yeah,
Or
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if
I
that's
still need
the
to play that
name.
one. Yeah,
Yeah.
Pizza
A
Possum
possum
Party,
pizza,
something
right?
like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Let me double check
But
the
Pizza
Impact
Tower, I
one.
don't know. I've heard of it, but I haven't seen much of it.
Okay, so Games for Impact, A Space for the Unbound,
Space of the
also
Unbound, yeah.
nominated, which
For the
I love
Unbound.
that game. It's beautiful. Chance of Sonar, which I don't know.
Me neither. I don't know it.
I guess it's focused, so then it's probably not indie. Goodbye Volcano High, which I have not played yet, but I've
Yeah,
heard
but
is
I
really
want.
good.
Yeah, I want to play it as well.
And then yes, Tachia, Terra Nil, and Venba.
Yeah.
So Venba nominated for 2 awards.
Yeah.
Very big.
That's great.
But yes, shall we talk a little bit about the controversy around Dave the Diver?
Yeah. It's funny because I was thinking how different it is in music. When you think about indie music, I mean, you don't really necessarily think about music that is made independently.
Yeah.
You think about the style.
Yes.
You know,
yeah.
the soft guitars and like the folk
Yeah.
kind of vibe.
Yeah.
But definitely in games, I think it's this idea of like games that are I forgot the word. Are we surprised that I forgot the word live on TV? On TV. They don't have a big budget. They have an independent budget, and they don't
Yes.
have a big studio behind them, right?
Yeah.
That's like the main thing.
Yeah.
But Dave the Diver, that's not the case with it.
Yeah, like I'm notorious for accidentally calling something an indie game when it's not,
Yeah.
and then realizing later,
Yeah.
like, never mind.
Yeah, I think we talked about Dave
For
the
sure
Diver.
we have, yeah.
As an independent game before we knew that it had like a huge budget behind. Well,
Yeah.
not a huge budget necessarily because the budget has not been revealed.
But a big studio.
But a big studio.
Yeah. Or publisher, I
backing
should
it up,
say,
yeah.
It's interesting because I think, like, obviously, who are we to make that mistake? Like, whatever.
Yeah.
If I call an indie game and it's not, like, it's just like, yeah, I'm a cozy gamer. I don't know anything. But if Jeff Knightley does it,
Right.
like, you probably should know better.
Right.
And it's for a big award too. Like,
Yeah,
it's a bit
it's in
unfair to other games on the list. So I do get the controversy of, like,
Yeah,
you need to
definitely.
make sure that the definition for this category is very, like, on point. I
On
guess.
point, yeah. But I guess it opens the discussion of whether indie games should be considered a style, as an aesthetic, or should it be considered just independent games? Because I think that some people make that distinction. Independent games is different from indie games.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough.
But
Yeah.
it definitely, I think that because the indie games have been such a huge part of gaming, like a very niche kind of part of gaming, a lot of people were criticizing or were against the idea of like considering game as big with a studio as big as the one behind Dave the Diver to be considered as an indie game. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'm not educated enough on the very nitty-gritty differences of like, and I worked for a publisher in the indie space, and so I can understand that sometimes when you think of an indie game, there's a lot more going on than you think there is behind the scenes.
Right.
Like, the budgets are bigger than you probably expect them to be.
Right.
And they're not all like one person making a video game. But at the same time, I can understand if there's like this giant corporation and they're just using a pixel art game as a way to make you feel like it's authentic, that could get very
I
messy.
do know that the studio behind Dave the Diver. It's the first game they do. It's the first game they make. They're just a subsidiary, let's say,
Right.
of this big studio, which is I
Yeah.
think it's Nexus or something like that. So it's like, in theory, this studio is new. This is their first game, and we don't know the budget behind it.
Yeah.
So we only know that it's owned by a big corporation.
Yeah.
So should it be indie?
Yeah, and I do think that like some people are like, oh, if you have a publisher, you're not an indie game anymore, and it's like, well, that's
Well,
like
that's not
how
true.
you're supposed to make the game.
Yeah,
like,
how you're supposed to make the game. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, because that's the difference. Like, there's a difference between you on your own, like at your home, making your own game and publishing it yourself, and then there's a difference in like I don't know, Hades, Annapurna Games.
Yeah.
Like they have
Devolver stuff. Yeah.
There's a difference. Definitely, they have more budget. They are bigger studios. But then when does it stop being called indie?
Yeah.
How big of a budget are we gonna have? Like those rules set? How big of a budget they have to have?
Maybe we just need more terms, and because indie is just so umbrella, maybe you need like very specific terms for each level of that.
Yeah,
Vienna's on fire.
There's a siren going on right now. I don't know if it's gonna.
They're coming for us.
Yeah. Which, by the way, the sirens here in Vienna are really cute.
Yeah. They're like cartoon sirens.
Cartoon sirens,
nice.
yeah. And the ambulances are like really small. Did you?
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah. They're like they look like cartoon ambulances. Just great. Just something I noticed.
But yeah, no, overall, I think it's an interesting debate, and I'm not educated enough on it to weigh in. But I do think that if anyone should be educated enough to make a difference, it should have been these people.
The Game Awards. Yeah.
And
it
for an
seems,
award of all things.
What it feels like is that it seems like they don't even know themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't know. They themselves don't know what rules they're nominating in the games based on. What rules are they
the criteria. I think they probably just made a mistake, and now they're trying to.
Yeah, I feel like maybe they didn't know, because everybody was talking about Dave the Diver as as an indie game.
Yeah.
Like when it came out, it was like, oh, this next indie game. So I can see how they just didn't know.
Yeah.
They just they've been hearing about Dave the Diver. They heard it was a good game. They tried it. They heard of the studio, and because it's a different studio. It's not the main studio.
Yeah.
Maybe they thought that it was indie, and now they're just like, they're not saying anything. Have they said? I don't think they.
Yeah, they released a thing. Jeff Knightley did. But yeah, it was pretty much just like, well, indie can mean a lot of different things. It's like, okay.
Yeah. That sounds like, well, I didn't know, but I'm not gonna go back on it now because that would be weird.
Yeah. Exactly. But the Game Awards has always got something to bring to the news.
Is there any indie game that you've played this year that you feel like should have been nominated and hasn't and wasn't?
That's a good question. I don't think so. I feel like I was surprised that Sea of Stars got nominated, and I'm glad that
Sea of Stars,
they do deserve it.
What about Chia?
Yeah, I think that they're fine on impact, because like that game I really enjoyed, but I get why other people thought it was like a bit boring.
Oh, okay.
Or like empty, but it's just like, for me, like Breath of the Wild is one of my favorite games, and it was like Breath of the Wild but cozy, and I was like, yes, everything,
perfect,
please.
Yeah.
So I get why it wasn't like better than Viewfinder, you know, which is innovative and doing something different,
But it has like a climate message, like a climate change message.
Yeah, and
like
a lot about the culture. Like it's set in
right,
New Caledonia, and they've
inheritance.
like a lot of the voice over stuff is in like French. There's a specific way. I want to say French Creole, but that's not the right word. And like native languages and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Which is very, very cool.
Right.
Yeah, and like Terra Nil I thought was great, but it probably not innovative enough to be like best
indie game. Yeah, I think I tend to agree on the best indie nominees. The best game of the year, maybe sometimes I don't, but in indie games I feel like in best game of the year are like Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Alan Wake 2, Resident Evil 4, Tears of the Kingdom,
and Super Mario Bros.
Super Mario's Wonder. Yeah, I was surprised by Super Mario Wonder, because usually they just like
they throw that into family games.
Throw that into family games, yeah.
which I haven't played much of it, but it is good. That's cool. And then obviously Baldur's Gate, which will win.
Baldur's Gate 3, which also is in theory an independent game. Like it's from an independent studio, but it's they come from like an an already existent IP.
Yeah.
So
you have that kind of IP behind you.
Right. So it also opens the debate of what is an indie game or what should and should not be considered an indie game.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Obviously I love Tears of the Kingdom, but Baldur's Gate is just
Baldur's Gate. Do you think Baldur's Gate 3 is going to win?
Absolutely, yeah.
You think so?
I think it would be a big shock if it did not win.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I've heard a lot of people say that Alan Wake 2 is like, as soon as they played it, they said Game of the Year. Like it's, I haven't played it. I am dying to play it, but I first need to finish Alan Wake, the first one.
Yeah.
But apparently, like it's crazy good.
I think even though like I haven't played Alan Wake 2, even if a game is really good though, it's hard to beat like revolutionizing the entire genre. You know, like I think Baldur's Gate is not for everyone, but it will change RPGs forever.
Okay.
You know, like so I think it's gotta win.
Yeah. There's also a lot of debate of whether, well, not a lot of debate, but there is some of whether should remakes be in the category of Game of the Year. Resident Evil 4.
I know you loved the game.
I loved it, but I was not necessarily expecting to see it in the category.
It seems strange to me, but I didn't like it as much, so I'm like, I don't know if I'm biased.
Oh, okay. Like, yeah. I mean, I think it's Resident Evil 4 is as good as Resident Evil 2 when it came out. Both remakes are really good, but it's also, I don't know, I think it closes the door on some other games that could be in the category if they were not remakes. I think isn't there because I was thinking there should be a category that is just best remake of the year, but there aren't many remakes. There aren't enough remakes. So where should you put Resident Evil 4 if you wanted to?
Just be The Last of Us every time they do a new one.
Right.
Like, we do a remaster every year.
Exactly. And they would win every year.
They would win every year, yeah.
But yeah, where would you put Resident Evil 4 as a remake if
not Game of the Year?
If not Game of the Year, like.
And I've heard it is a stellar.
It is.
I've never played the original, but
it is. It is a good.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a very new. It's a fresh experience if you've played. The original one. And it's also very close to the spirit of the original one. It's just as goofy and and nice to play.
Tough year. Game of the Year.
I'm gonna say Alan Wake 2 is gonna win.
Yeah.
But I know it's not gonna win.
I think those are probably the two top contenders from the sounds of it.
Yeah. And it's funny because it tells you how big of a year it's been in gaming 2023, because when Tears of the Kingdom first came out, I was like, Tears of the Kingdom is going to take it again.
Yeah.
Clearly it's going to take it again. And no.
Yeah.
Now I think that it's definitely not going to win.
To be honest, like Spider-Man 2 in another year would have been a contender, but it's just like, it's just really good, but
it's just like any other AAA.
Yeah. It's tough. But no, Game of the Year should be interesting this year. I'm excited to see who's going to win. Yeah, we had actually another news topic we wanted to touch about in the space.
It's the kind of topic that if you're too online and you're too much on Twitter, then you've definitely heard of it. But if not, you probably don't know. You have no idea.
I am much too on Twitter.
So
if you didn't hear, essentially, someone from the publishers of a game called Spirity went on a little bit of a rant on Twitter. I think he intended it to just be for like other devs and other publishers.
Yeah.
And it was like a long thread about like how the game had done in terms of marketing, like the sales that they've made. They made like over 1 million, which is a crazy good release for a game like that. It's like a cozy farming sim with like Ghibli vibes. So good, very good release. But he made a comment in kind of two of the later tweets in the thread. First being that he felt there was zero coverage on YouTube specifically, with a screenshot of YouTube videos
that were
clearly covering the game. But and then he went on to say that the reason why they got no coverage is every YouTuber they reached out to
wanted to be paid,
said that they would only do it if they were paid, and that he felt that he understands that this is the evolution of the industry, but that he felt icky and that it was to pay creators. And so there's a lot of context to this
Yeah.
situation for sure. As someone who's worked in influence relations
Yeah.
at a publisher before, you know, I'm not unfamiliar with the debate of whether or not people should be paid as content creators. And I think where it's coming from is a very old school idea and Gamergate in 2014, where there was a big outcry about journalists and content creators being paid for reviews. So like
Yeah.
what was meant to be an unbiased thing being paid for.
Yeah.
So I think that's where it's coming from, but it obviously spiraled into something much bigger.
Much bigger, yeah.
Which is what we'll kind of
Yeah.
touch
I mean,
on.
I understand, like, from a journalist point of view, because I'm a journalist, or used to be, right? I understand that it's unethical
Yeah.
to be paid to write a review.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like, I would never accept money for that. And
Yeah.
it would be, like, that would definitely be a stain on your reputation
Oh,
if you
yeah.
accepted money to
Yeah.
write a review. And you're supposed to get the money from the paper or from the media outlet
Yeah.
that you're writing for.
Yeah, unbiased, yeah.
Unbiased, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think there's a difference between that kind of content, or I mean, I don't call it content, I call it journalism.
Yeah, exactly.
And content. The problem is that I think more and more people are getting their reviews and they are getting their opinions on games, not from necessarily media outlets, but content creators.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where it mixes, and it's
Yeah.
kind of like a gray territory.
Yeah.
Where it's like, how do you get a guaranteed unbiased opinion from a content creator if they were paid?
Yeah.
What do you think?
So, yeah, I think that it's an issue of influencers not being very well understood in the industry, for sure.
Definitely.
There's two ways to look at influencers. And what normally happens as a publisher is that influencers fall under press.
Yeah.
And they're usually handled by the same people that handle press reviews, Metacritic stuff.
Right.
And so that's where I think it becomes complicated for people who don't work directly with influencers, that they assume that, well, we're sending out these codes for them to create reviews. Because that's what the press does when we send them a code. But more and more, and probably 90% of the content creator industry now in the gaming industry is not professional journalistic reviews.
Right.
It's let's plays, it's streams, it's Instagram posts now if you're in the cozy gaming space. It's like deep dives into like, you know, how to find this exact thing in the game.
Yeah.
Like it's not most often not reviews anymore. And some of the old school content creators are still doing reviews, but they would never take money for any of this. And so I think what happened here was this guy does not understand content. And then people misinterpreted the content creators getting mad about it because we're like, if you want me to do a let's play, like you don't have to pay, but like you can't call that zero coverage,
right?
Or be questioned.
Yeah,
why
that was the main reason why content creators were mad.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? It was not about the debate of whether they should be paid or not.
Yeah, it was like saying that 41,000 views what Mad Morph got on his video, for instance, who's a very influential indie space creator. Calling that zero coverage that he did for free.
It was very disrespectful, to be honest.
Rude. And then to say that it's like icky for people to ask for money when you're reaching out asking for them to do something, that is the part that kind of angered people, essentially. But I think what it comes from is this idea that he doesn't understand that there's more to content than just
that they're
reviews.
Different industry. They're almost different industries.
Yeah, and obviously I'm a marketing person, so I understand that I'm a bit biased in the way I look at content. And you don't have to look at if you want to be a journalistic content creator, absolutely, just don't take money for it. And I don't think this is like some epidemic. No one's taking money and not disclosing it.
Definitely not. It's just like becoming a YouTuber, or like you can do it now from home. Yeah. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're not media outlets anymore. I think there are. Yeah. I think there are journalists, but it is I do see it like, if I want to get an unbiased opinion on a game, I definitely go to a media outlet. I will not go to someone who clearly puts on the title that this is an ad, that they got a code for the game, that they got paid to review the game. Yeah. If I do go to them, it's because I want to support their content, I want to see them play, I like their personality, etc., etc. But if I actually want an opinion on the game, I know, but it's because maybe I have the criteria of a journalist, that I will go to a media outlet. But maybe other people don't. Maybe other people who are not in the industry, or who are not journalists, or who are not whatever, they just don't have that criteria, so they will just go to their favorite content creators for an unbiased opinion on the game.
Yeah.
So I see how that becomes a gray area, where it's like they're not gonna get an unbiased.
It is like a thing for me that like it's the difference of what you want from your coverage.
Yeah.
If your coverage is like, yeah, you want the just unbiased review, no control over that content, then send it to a bunch of press and like review YouTubers. But if you are like, actually my game needs more coverage that's like gameplay, because we think this bit of gameplay is really interesting and it's not going to come to life in like a written review, then that's when you pay for a let's play or a TikTok or a Twitch stream. Like there's different reasons for each type of coverage that you look into.
Yeah, and that you can't force press to cover something they're not interested in.
You have no control over it.
You have no control over that, and that's good. That's how it's supposed to be. But then if you still want to get advertisement for your game, and you wanted it to be out there, then I feel like there's nothing wrong on paying some content creator to cover the game.
It was just weird to me that like it became this fight very suddenly between journalists and content creators, and journalists saying that like content creators are ruining the industry, that we're shills, that all this stuff, and it's like, okay, we're not trying to take your jobs.
Exactly.
No one out here is trying to take a journalist's job. That's not, even when I do reviews, I am very much like, not a professional. Very biased. This is all my personal opinion. But if you want to hear my opinion because you like the same games I like, maybe this is useful. But I would never try and like position myself as like a journalist review. And sometimes YouTubers do position themselves that way, but they're really good at it, and they're really good at it. Really well researched. They're like, they've played every game, and they have the reputation
to back it up.
But I just think if it's a conversation of like, oh, we should just be careful this doesn't turn into like an issue around bias and stuff, then whatever. The problem I have, it's like they're acting like there's some sort of epidemic of content creators not disclosing when they're being paid.
Which there isn't. They disclose when they're being paid.
Exactly. I have to disclose, because I'm in the UK, I have to disclose if I get a gifted code, I have to mark that as an ad. Which press don't have to do.
Press don't have,
So it's like, okay, if the law is treating me like an advertiser, then I need to act like an advertiser. Like that's my responsibility.
And those are industries that don't really, they're different.
Yeah.
So if they're different for every other product, why cannot they be different for games as well?
Yeah.
I feel the same.
It's very interesting, and I think it's going to continue to be a conversation. I just hope that it doesn't become a war between
journalists and content creators. I think
there's no point.
Or people from like an old perspective, an old point of view. I don't know. I feel like we as a society have progressed past the need.
And like it should be good that we are more modern in the way that we split this industry, and that games have the opportunity to market their game through PR, traditional Metacritic stuff, and
that's the way that we found out about a lot of games. Because of indie content creators. And it's like you wouldn't maybe as a media outlet, you wouldn't be able to make such an impact because you're not as specialized in that topic specifically, or because you're covering so many games that just another headline gets lost in the ocean of headlines that you post every day on Twitter or whatever, or because you're not making as much dedicated content towards that game. So because we have content creators specialized on that, we can actually find out about more games, and we can, it helps the industry. So I see the points, but I think it helps more than it
I think it's literally just like, I feel really bad for journalists in general. Like that industry is struggling, and I feel for them. We're not the enemy though. It's not the content creators that are the issue here. Like
absolutely.
And I just I hope that we don't become the kicking bag for why they're losing jobs and stuff. Like that's not the thing here. I should mention that the guy who made this post, by the way, has apologized. So don't like cancel them or him or anything like that.
No, they were very I felt that they were very sincere in that apology. Or like, okay, definitely I missed the mark here. There's something that I don't understand. And just,
like I definitely want to see walk the walk. Like I might not work directly with them just because it was rude. That was my only problem with it.
Me
like
too.
It was just like, rude.
It was
And
like,
they came
hey,
after my
look,
friend.
there's no
So-
coverage, and then just a picture of like coverage,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
It was disrespectful.
Exactly. So, but I don't think it's like,
Yeah, something to cancel over someone over.
no. And the person who did make Spirit Teas like a single dev and stuff, and even if they agreed with the statements, it's not like, people can get misunderstandings on this kind of stuff, and it's complicated.
And it's a gray area.
Yeah.
I understand that, yeah.
But yeah, so don't go after them, don't blacklist them or anything.
Yeah.
But I think it's a healthy conversation, and the only thing that scared me a little bit was the derailing into a whole conversation about how all content creators suck and we shouldn't take money for anything. And it's like,
and
well,
should
I
we
gotta
pay
pay
them?
rent.
Well, we shouldn't pay them. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like they're doing a job, they're investing time on it.
Yeah, like I don't have a paper that pays me, so
Right.
it's like I get it, and I sometimes do take more sponsorship than I should, but yeah, you can go to someone who doesn't take any sponsorship and really is unbiased and stuff and all that good journalistic stuff, and there's content creators out there, but you just have to be able to tell the difference, and that's why there's laws making us disclose everything. So yeah, anyways, just thought it would be interesting to chat about, considering you're a journalist and
you were a content
full-time
creator,
content
full-time
creator.
content creator.
It's interesting.
The influencer and the journalist.
But yeah, let us know, I guess, down below what you guys think about it. I guess if you're interested in that kind of stuff.
In the debate,
I suppose we can move on to our big topic of the week.
Yeah,
I keep saying friendship.
It's so funny because our friends asked us what we were gonna talk about today, and they were like, and Kat was like, friendship.
The meaning
I
of
could
friendship.
see, at the meaning of friendship, I could see a rainbow just like above you. Friendship. Imagination.
But yes, we do want to talk about like online friendships, and I guess like a bit about how the gaming space and the content creation space has brought us together.
Yeah.
Should we start with how we met?
Yeah, well, we've talked a little bit about this.
Oh, have we? I can't remember anything about. Once I say it, I forget.
Do you remember that we had a first episode, episode 0?
Course. Yes.
Where we were like, we met through Instagram.
Yes.
But I think we actually became, we met through Twitch more than Instagram, because we followed each other on Instagram, but we didn't interact a lot.
No, yeah.
But it's funny because we met through Twitch, and there was a group of friends. We had a group of friends, and I think the two of us were the ones that were the least close.
Yeah.
I think in that group of friends.
For sure. At the beginning,
yeah. And then it all fell apart.
Yeah.
And it felt like the only rational person in the room was Kat. And it was a lesson. It was a huge lesson on online friendships and how problematic sometimes they can be and how careful you gotta be with them. But at the end, it was like, Kat is the only rational person. I'm just gonna stick with her.
Yeah, I think it was like a friendship by fire in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Like early on, we had some issues, like interpersonal stuff with someone else we were friends with. And then you kind of bond over that situation, don't you?
Yeah. And it's funny because like when it was that way for me. It was my first time actually putting myself out there on the internet and making friends. And to me, everybody that came to me and was nice and sweet was like, oh my God, this is a potential new friend. And I feel like I let them in too quickly.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, we're friends. We're online friends. We're just like, we're going to play together and we're just going to have fun on Twitch together. And they came to my every stream.
Yeah.
And it was like we were hanging out as a group of friends. And then you kind of realize that that Twitch is not necessarily a hangout for friends in that way. And that, the moment that you don't meet their expectations on what your content should be like, then it starts being a problem, because it's like now they don't want to hang out in that group anymore, in that place anymore. But it wasn't a hangout place. It was your channel.
Yeah.
So it's like at first it was like, oh, this is my hangout with my friends. And then I slowly realized that no, this is my space. And and I should not feel uncomfortable by the requests of other people.
Yeah, that's huge. Yeah. It's interesting because I think people so often say like you should only become a streamer if you want to have fun and like make friends. You shouldn't come here if you want to make money or like build a business. Like it should all be about like this very lofty idea of like you just love games so much and you love the culture of the gaming space. And I've said this before, but like I came to Twitch for the complete opposite reason. I was like, I was doing well on Instagram and I was like, I want a way to monetize this. Because I just wanted to build my own business. I was interested in that. And it was like YouTube or Twitch, which way do I go? And Twitch seemed easier.
So seemed easier.
I went to Twitch, and then I think what happened is I came with those very like professional, no bullshit reason, and then it totally went out the window when I met people, and I became like you just get I think addicted to the serotonin,
to the interactions.
And it's like, it's really, Twitch becomes, I think, addictive in a way that, like, you get this instant interaction with people you look up to. And it's such a weird feeling to be in chat and be like, oh, they haven't read my message yet. I feel anxious about it. And like,
are they going to read it?
You just get so...
are people going to think that I'm funny?
Oh, if you make a joke and they don't laugh. Oh, my God.
And is everybody else in chat going to think I'm cool? Definitely. It's a thing about
you want to
that.
be noticed, and and it's like the word, and we're all a bunch of nerds on Twitch too.
Definitely.
It's like we all have terrible interpersonal skills, and we were all locked up during lockdown trying to like, you know, have some sort of social life again. And I definitely fell down that rabbit hole of just like becoming so dependent on Twitch and the relationships I'd build there. Which some of these friendships, like obviously with you and the people we're here with, like are going to be lifelong friendships for me.
But it's not going to be with any other person you meet on Twitch and that they're sweet with you.
No,
And I also think that because we are kind of shy in real life and introverted maybe, because it's hard to meet people with your same interests, especially if that interest is gaming, because it's not a very socialized hobby outside of the internet, you know? So it's not like you can go out to a party or something like that and find gamers.
Very specific kind of party.
Very specific party. So Twitch became that place, or like the internet, Instagram as well, becomes that place where you can find people who for the first time are actually as passionate as you are in this interest of yours. And then it becomes a little bit addictive. Like, oh, finally I found my people, but you don't know these people. And it's been it's been just 2 months and you feel like you know them forever. No. It's like, I don't know, it's hard to stay grounded when it comes to that at first.
Definitely over the years I've learned that lesson like 4 times over of like, I don't know these people, I gotta remember that. Because you just you do forget that like there's this added barrier of the screen that people aren't always who they present online. Obviously it seems like a freaking like safety ad, you know, of like, remember the internet's not real, and then you forget.
You absolutely forget. It's like, sometimes I feel like, why do people fall into traps into scams where it's so easy to say that it's a scam, and it's like, no, it's because it plays with your emotions, you know, and you want more and you want more, and it's not only you, the people on the other end also want that, and they want more from you, and they have higher expectations of you. You know, you are this online friend, you gotta be there for them all the time, and it's like you gotta do what they want. It's crazy. And then there's the added factor of like, people sometimes think that you owe them something, and think that, or have other intentions with you. And it's just very easy to fall in that, like, okay, they're suddenly my friend. They're my friend from the internet. I should make them happy. But at the same time, they actually want something else. They are not there because they want you as a friend, but because you satisfy this need that they have because they're lonely, or because I don't know what issue they have. And it's very hard to put limits on that.
And Twitch adds the whole extra, like, money is exchanged.
Which makes that's
life in general
thing.
Complicated. But when you have friends, or you know, these relationships that are hard to make tangible, that then also have this extra bit of you're being paid by them
Yeah.
is super weird. And I think all small streamers go through it. I think when you get to a big level, there's like an obvious barrier there.
Yeah.
But when you're streaming like 3 times a week to like 15 to 40 people, it's I get why these kind of issues that we've had, and I know other people have to happen all the time. It's just like, it's weird. None of us know how to kind of navigate this strange world. And yeah, you just kind of get sucked into it. But like, I wouldn't exchange all the friendships I have made that have been like beautiful, like friendships that I owe a lot.
Do you think that they actually solidified as friendships when you met them in real life, or do you feel like you need that factor of knowing someone?
I don't think I do personally. Like, I feel like I don't know. I think for some of the friendships that maybe I didn't talk to those people as much, but when I met them in real life, I realized, oh, we're really similar actually. But like with you, I don't feel like I knew you any less before we met each other.
Yeah,
you
I think we
know?
were pretty similar, the way that we had presented each other online as we were in real life.
Yeah, like it was almost weird to meet you in real life and then be like, oh, we haven't met before.
We haven't met before. Yeah. I definitely got that feeling as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like there's a few of those types of people that I was like, it wouldn't really make a difference if I never met them.
Right. Yeah. But I don't know. It's weird to differentiate between what's genuine and what's not, and who is being genuine, who is actually as similar to you, who is actually someone that you can call a friend, and someone who you're gonna meet and it's gonna be like, no, this person is not what I thought they were at all.
Yeah, it does actually. I think meeting a person tends to also bring the worst out of the people.
Absolutely.
You know, so not that I recommend everyone meet in real life, because that's obviously a dangerous recommendation. But like, I do think that's also brought out some helpful things that I'm like, yeah, we just actually don't click at all.
Yeah, definitely. There have been people that I thought we were like really close friends, and I thought we had a wonderful friendship and we were gonna be friends forever. And then when I met them in real life, I realized I would have never become friends with this person if I had met them in real life, from the beginning. And so it's scary. It's scary to, I think now I feel like I put myself first before anybody else.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And so when I already feel uncomfortable, or when I feel like I'm already giving some more of me than I'm comfortable with to someone that I don't know in real life, I kind of tell myself, oh, I don't even know them in real life.
Yeah.
But like, it's weird because it's not like I need to know them in real life to know that they're my friends. But if they're making me feel uncomfortable, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
There. Like, it's someone, if they're asking more of you than you are comfortable with giving, then maybe it's because you don't even know them in real life. Maybe it's good to have like that realization. That these people are not showing you necessarily, or don't have the best intentions towards you.
Yeah. No, it's a messy thing. Would you like change anything? Like, would you do anything differently if you started it all again?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't change the people that I've met, and the friends that I made, especially the group that we have now, that we all met for Twitch. But I definitely think that I would be less naive, and less, because there's a component of being naive, and there's a component of also wanting attention. Wanting the approval of the people that you look up to. So that's the problem with Twitch. You start looking up to the people who are on the screen, and you start having like, you start feeling like they're superior to you, or like they're more talented, or they're cooler than you. And that is something that feels very teenagerish. Like,
it does make you feel that way again, doesn't it?
Yeah, it feels like, oh, that's like something that only a 15-year-old would fall for. But here I am, I'm 26, and I feel this way, and it feels ridiculous. And you don't even realize that you're going down that hole. So definitely, I think I would be less naive and remind myself more often that these are not people who are better than me, or who are more talented than me, or cooler than me in any way. And then more often than not, they're actually not cool at all.
Absolutely.
Also, I think with men, I would be more careful around men, and it's not to say I hate men on the internet or whatever, but it's something that you have to be more careful of.
Yeah,
Like I've had
absolutely.
male friends that I thought that were my friends, and then they had second intentions, and then they started feeling like this certain ownership over me,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I didn't even realize that it was happening. It's just like it starts with messaging a lot, and then it becomes like, why didn't you answer? And then it becomes like, I need to talk to you every day, and it's like suddenly it's too much.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Or manipulation can happen very easily,
Yeah.
and it makes you become a person that you don't want to be, and you don't even realize
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
So I think with men, definitely it has to be, or with with people who show certain attraction to you or whatever.
Yeah.
It has to be you have to be so careful.
Yeah, it's totally different for women, I think, on Twitch.
Absolutely.
Like, and even I've never been like a single Twitch streamer. I've always been married, like since I started content creation.
Yeah.
So I think it has, because men only respect
Mm-hmm.
other men having possession over you.
Right. And you realize that as well, that
Yep.
people have treated you differently once they know that you're married.
Absolutely.
That is so gross.
It's the weirdest thing of, when a male streamer that I was like, oh, I think we're friends or like colleagues at the very least. And then, they find out I'm married and I don't get contact anymore.
Yeah.
It's very strange, but you get used to it. And I think I would probably learn a similar lesson of like, I wish I hadn't fallen down the trap, specifically with like male streamers. I think for the most part, like I think I should have, like, I don't want to be like very like girl gang about it, but like I do think the women I've met through Twitch, those have been my lifelong friends.
Definitely.
And obviously there are some very close male friends of mine that are amazing, but you just have to be much more careful.
Much more careful.
Yeah.
And we always talk about setting boundaries, and like, well, in general on the internet, people always talk about you have to set boundaries with people you don't know or whatever. But like, how do those boundaries look like for you?
Yeah, I was not good at the beginning, for sure. Like, I think specifically as a viewer, I was very bad at it.
I was very bad at it as well.
Like, both with like a jealousy thing, but like an attention thing. And I think if I were to do it completely differently, I feel like I wish I had found Twitch before the pandemic, because I just think my brain was like soft almost during that time. And
I need something to feel connected to.
Yeah, and it was just like, it felt like being a teenager again, where you're still developing and you don't know how to deal with your emotions. And I think
it felt a lot like that.
Yeah, like all of my...
Yeah, and people are always like, oh, there's so much Twitch drama. There's so much Twitch drama on the internet. And it feels like teenage drama.
Like high school, yeah.
Feels like high school. And it's definitely because people get way too into the connection or the attention or whatever. And they kind of forget that they have a real life where these things don't matter that much.
No, yeah. And it's like I was watching streams for like 10 hours straight while I was working and stuff, you know? And like that's just too much time spent with like one person to not like feel like an attachment to them.
Absolutely.
And stuff, you know? So I do think it's... being a viewer, I think, was scarier for me than as a streamer,
than being a streamer
a lot of the time.
Yeah,
like, I don't think I ever had that much issue with like people who watch me, like here and there, but never
something too detrimental.
It's never really
health.
Crossed over.
Yeah.
It's more like the relationships I have with other, like
with
as
other
a viewer of someone else.
And it's something that it's so common on Twitch, because like Twitch streamers, they stream for 10 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, and you kind of have this feeling like, because you're a viewer, you have to be there. You can't leave, and it starts feeling I start feeling sick about it, you know?
Yeah.
It's like
it's crazy.
It's like, oh, I kind of want to leave and do something else, but I don't want them to be alone. I need to be chatting with them, and they don't really know me, and they don't really see me as a friend, maybe. Or they're gonna change the way they act towards me tomorrow because of something that I did or said.
And they'll put you through a whole spiral.
And they put you through a whole spiral of like, and you know, I feel like there's a lot of like looking or being careful of people who are like that, who are too attachy or like have their way too attached to you or whatever in online spaces. But sometimes it's also good to like have a look at yourself and see, well, wait, am I being that person? Am I being like way too attached to this person who doesn't even know me. And maybe you're not doing anything wrong to them.
Yeah.
But it's doing something to you.
Yeah. I suppose it's like similar stuff you would deal with in real life, like the love bomb issue.
It is a lot like a love bomb.
Yeah. It's like, and I've had this question for myself a lot as a content creator of like, should I stray away from saying things like friends or I love you,
me
that
too.
kind of stuff.
Me too.
And I definitely have made that mistake many, many times over. I'm not perfect by any means. I've tried to teach myself not to use the word friends, but I just kind of end up saying it anyways.
Yeah.
So I've just tried to like maybe set other boundaries that are easier for me to set. But yeah.
Well, because friends is an easy word that not necessarily expresses friendship, but like a sympathy towards people, and like not like I'm gonna be there for you every time always, but it's like we are pals, and we are, you know, we are good with each other, like we have fun together. But a lot of people don't see it that way. And when they hear friends, it's like, no, they really think sister, brother, siblings, like friends for life. And they start asking that of you. And because it's so many people, sometimes it gets like, okay, too many people are like, you know, pulling from me, and I don't even know them. It's just, it goes back to I don't even know them.
Absolutely. And I have a whole other issue of like I get in other people's business too much. Like I'm just I like gossip. It's a terrible character trait, but I'm a Libra. I can't help it.
I mean, I like it too. I don't know if I like being involved in the gossip.
I don't want to be anywhere near it, but I want to know.
I want to know, and I
want to help. Which is the problem. I have a savior complex. It's not great. But yeah, I think I've stuck my nose in many things that I shouldn't have. And I think for me, the turning point was taking a step back from being a viewer, to be honest. Like I don't watch a lot of Twitch anymore. It's just a couple people I trust that I'll watch. And even the people that I do love and trust, I have a hard time sometimes. I'll see the people that, you know, that it's just difficult for me to not become fully invested again.
Definitely that's the way that it's healthy for you. It's something that you have to stick with 100%, and not feel guilty about, because that's the other thing, that you feel guilty about not watching or not being there or not liking posts or not liking tweets or not interacting with people. And it's like, it's not life or death for anybody. It's nothing's gonna happen.
And I think that's like this differentiation between like having an audience and a community. Having a community is beautiful and amazing. But it's hard. It's hard to do. It's hard to manage that many relationships at a time. It requires, I think, like great mental health. Which I don't have.
I don't either.
So like, I think I'm almost like willing to sacrifice some of the benefits of having a really tight-knit community and look more at an audience, just because I think it'll be easier for me and everyone involved. And that's sad to say, because I love some of the communities I found, and I do think that people can make some incredible communities here on the internet, but I just wonder if I'm not equipped for it.
No, I wonder that as well. Like, I think I didn't realize how much it had affected me. Now that I'm not as depressed and I'm not as like in that place anymore, but it was those years in which I found Twitch and I found all these people that I also became very depressed. So it's like, now I'm making connections. Now I'm like, and I was also like
interesting.
And I was also thinking like, this person that I really feel close to, they're not answering, they don't want me, I haven't talked to them in so long, and now I feel rejected. Now I feel like I'm not worth it. And it's just like, you gotta step back and see the whole picture and see it can really affect your mental health. You can't be the type of person who is like, you know, I know how to set up boundaries, I know how to be safe on the internet, because we think we were and we weren't, you know.
I think it is like the high school teenager comparison is so spot on. It's just like all of that times a million, like these little triggers that I'm sure we've always had for like depression or anxiety that just becomes so much more like magnified because we're spending 10 hours watching these people, or we're talking to them on Discord and we're playing games with them and we're watching them stream and we're like watching their TikToks or whatever, and you just get crazy.
But now for like the positive things that you feel like being online and having online friendships as opposed to like real life friendships have brought to your life, what do you feel like there's something that you wouldn't change, or like what are the things that you value the most?
I think the big one for me was I felt very lonely in the UK.
Yeah.
And that was tough for me just because I had been there for like 2.5 years when the pandemic hit, but I just felt like I didn't have any friends.
Yeah.
Because like my classmates were all international students. They all left.
Yeah.
And so like my friends were kind of my partner's friends, and I was like, I just don't know anyone in this country, and so I just kind of want to leave. Like I don't feel this attachment to it. But yeah, I think surprisingly, Twitch helped me find so many British
friends.
Yeah, and even if they lived quite far from me, it was like, oh, I finally have people that I can like go on trips with, or like who might like want to come visit me, or any of that stuff, or like bitch about the grocery store or taxes or whatever it is.
Right,
that's
yeah, like
British.
real life things, and British things, British specific problems.
Exactly, and that felt like it wasn't looking for that necessarily, but it was a very big plus for me. I think was finding people in my area. And then I think recently it's kind of evolved into like meeting other full-time content creators that work in the space that I can like go to a networking event with, or like the UK space is big but very small. Like everyone kind of knows each other, and that's been quite cool. I think to
be part of that circle now.
Yeah, and to like have people that I can ask for advice.
Yeah, make professional connections. Yeah, it's not only about friendships and like is this gonna be forever or not? It's also about professional connections that you can make.
Absolutely,
people you can ask for advice.
I think that helped me in kind of solidifying like, oh, I do think I like this job.
Yeah,
and I think I could make it a job, and that was helpful. And I think I owe a lot to just the UK space for that, so I'll miss that when I move. But yeah, I think those two big things for me.
Yeah.
What about you?
I feel very similarly, because I also moved to a different country, and I didn't really have friends, or I have very few friends that lived in the city, and most of the time I spent alone in my home. And you know, the difference is now that I kind of regret a little bit that I didn't start streaming, or I didn't start content creation in Spanish, because I feel like it would have been probably more like healthier for me, in the way that I would have met people that are around me and that I can actually hang out with, or people from my own area, or like people from my own industry, like local industry of video games, which is huge. Spanish industry of video games is huge, especially for streamers and for influencers and stuff like that. But it did give me friends anyway, you know? So it's like the fact that I can now call someone and say, or not call, but like message someone and say like, hey, do you want to play video games today? Or something like that, which is something that I don't always do. I very, very rarely do. But the fact that I can do that and feel like, okay, I talked to a friend today. It's huge. And the fact that I can actually plan a trip together, that we can plan this trip together, that we can be like, all right, this is also not gonna be the last time we meet, probably. Because now we have like this bond that was born from an online friendship. I feel like it has made me feel that it's not impossible for me to make friends, which is something that I kind of felt like it was like, I'm never gonna be able to make friends here. It's so hard. Like I'm just gonna be alone forever. Forever alone. But it's like, no, I actually can find people who can connect with me, and I'm not as annoying as I thought I was, because these people do want to hang out
it gives
around
you the
me.
confidence again.
It gives you confidence again.
No, absolutely.
Yeah,
I think that like with all the bad stuff, I wouldn't trade. Like the friendships I've made.
It's like, okay, if I have to go over the bad stuff, all right. But again, if I had to go over all of it again, it's like, all right, I guess I'll go back. I'll do it again. But if I can have this place again, and if I can have these moments again, it's worth it. And definitely now I approach it way more carefully than I did before. And it's also like, the good thing about making online friends and making a solid group of online friends, is that you don't feel the need to make friends with every other person that comes right your way. It's enough. Like, I have my friends, and now I can be friendly with you. But we don't have to be friends. And if it's something arises from it, then fine. but it's not necessary. It's not like you are constantly waiting for someone's approval or someone's
Yeah.
attention like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like I don't know about you, but I just feel like I've learned a lot about myself through
Yeah.
even the like the bad or just the
Yeah.
having these types of friendships. You learn a lot about communication
Yeah.
and what kind of people you want around you and things that I
Absolutely.
think has been helpful. It's again, it's like growing up again.
It's like growing up again. It feels like you always feel like when the teenage days are over, you're like, oh, that's teenage stuff. I'm never gonna
Yeah.
get involved in teenage drama. And actually, the 20s are like just being a teenager, but like with bills,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, like I sometimes think we talk about this in therapy a lot too, like the younger me and how I wish I could have protected her from some stuff.
Yeah.
And so yeah, like I wish I could have done something slightly different
Yeah.
just so I didn't have to
Like, this
feel
doesn't
that
matter,
way.
silly.
Yeah.
Like, don't do this.
Exactly. But at the same time, yeah, I just feel like you make so many interesting lessons and friends and stuff through the process of it that it's worth it.
Yeah.
Like I don't think content creation is for everyone. I don't think online relationships is for everyone. I
Yeah.
think you need to be very honest
about what you're okay with, definitely.
yeah, and what you can handle. Like some people are just gonna have, and I know like my severe anxiety has become something I need to be very careful with.
Yeah,
and,
definitely me too.
like it's just I think you have to be honest of like maybe this isn't the best space for me and I need to find something else to put my energy towards.
Yeah, definitely. In my case, I feel like when I'm depressed, I feel like I'm disconnected from reality a lot, and it's really helpful for me to talk to real people, and to be in the real world, and to go outside and actually try to make real friends.
Yeah.
And in that sense, maybe online friendships are not the best for me. Like the fact that I know all of you makes me feel so much better than if I didn't.
Yeah.
And there's also like this sense of worth that can go up and down if like someone replies to you or doesn't reply to you, or maybe they sound different today in their message and you can't actually speak to them, or they're not available or whatever. And all of that I feel like I've improved on, but it's something that I have to be very careful on.
Yeah.
It makes for healthier relationships when
Absolutely.
when you get to know each other, yourself like that.
Yeah. No, for sure. Well, that was actually a really fascinating discussion, I think. Like, about just parasocial
relationships, friendships, whatever.
I'd love to hear other people's input. Like, I think we have shared so much of our experience that I wonder if this is normal.
Yeah.
This is just what it's like to be a woman on the internet.
Especially that,
if we just, had a very specific experience with it. But, yeah, I'd be very curious. But, anyways, we should probably wrap up this very special episode
together.
I guess the last thing we normally do is like life updates.
Anything
you started your course.
I'm gonna finish in June. And my mom is in Barcelona right now. So we're spending a lot of time together. I always miss time with my family, especially because they live so far away. So we're going shopping. We're doing like all the mom-daughter stuff.
I love that.
Yeah, she's like, buy this. It looks cute on you. I never had it. I never have anyone to tell me that it looks cute on me. So it's been it's been very nice. And she's taking care of Haru. She's bonding with my cat. They have a very special relationship now.
Aww.
Yeah, they're getting along. Yeah, it's very cute.
That's amazing. I love that.
Yeah. You're about to move to Canada.
Yes. So I'm moving in about like a week and a half from today's date. So that's stressful. I hate it. That's probably why if you're like, where's Kat been on the internet? That's where. Packing and stressing. So this is kind of our final like say goodbye to some friends here in the UK. And we did our family last week, said goodbye to a bunch of people, so that was nice. But also, I have another life update. I got a job.
A job!
Again, I can't stay still for 2 seconds.
You quitted your job like not very long ago.
Yeah. When did I finish?
A few months ago.
Like August or something? Yeah.
August or
wasn't that
something,
long ago.
And you're
like
back
this.
on it.
I'm always like, oh, I'm changing my entire life. I'm quitting my job. I'm going to go full.
Yeah.
But this was just the perfect opportunity.
I'm really happy for you because you told me that you really want to.
Yeah. And I thought it was going to be a long shot, to be honest. But I get to work in marketing and it's much more like strategic stuff.
That's nice.
For very cool people. And it's still in the games industry, so you'll see me around. But back to full time which I'm a bit like nervous about, obviously, but I think it'll be much more
It will give
balanced this
you,
time.
yeah, it, in especially in a time like this where so many things in your life are changing, it gives you structure.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is,
exactly.
it gives you like, you know that you're gonna get paid every month. You know that
Yeah.
you're gonna have this amount of money.
Yeah.
It gives you a lot of organization. You can organize better, especially.
Yeah, I think it'll be
now.
it'll be healthy, hopefully, and just help us kind of readjust to Vancouver life. And also one of my coworkers also lives there, so that should be
that's
be nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll we'll see how it goes. I think it'll be fine, hopefully.
Yeah.
I'm just excited to get into it and get started. But yeah, I think I need to.
We'll hear more about your job and how.
Yeah.
Your daily adventures.
Yes, exactly. I am thinking of ways I need to kind of step back from certain bits of content creation because I think I have a tendency to do all of it.
I know. You're all over in all places at once. You're like posting all over the place, and I'm like, I don't know how she does it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't do it well though, to be fair. I take mysterious breaks every once in a while. But yeah, I think like the podcast, I feel very attached to this project. I don't want to see it go, so that will remain. But to be honest, I haven't Twitch streamed in a while, and I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I'm also thinking. I've been considering not doing it.
Yeah, I just don't know if it gives me the
satisfaction, the fulfillment.
Yeah, like I'll miss some aspects of it.
Yeah.
But it's hard to stream.
It's hard to, it's like all of that we were talking about. It drains you.
Yeah.
Emotionally,
and you do it in a second language.
I
can't even imagine that. How exhausting that must be after every goddamn stream.
Oh my god, I'm so tired.
Yeah.
I'm so tired. It's like my brain cannot anymore.
It's wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe it'd be good. Maybe we'll just.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll just start investing more time in other projects.
Yeah.
And that will become like our things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been considering it as well. Especially, I don't know, especially lately. It's like.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to kind of look at Twitch streaming as like it was important for our lives at the time we had it.
Definitely, yeah.
And not feel like we owe
right, because you feel you end up feeling like all these people that I've met, all these people that are in my server in Discord, all these people that are like waiting for you or something like that. Like you owe them to go back to it. But in the end, it's like no. People are gonna be fine. Yeah. Everything's gonna be all right. Like you don't. Nobody's gonna. Nobody's life is gonna be like horribly affected or whatever. Yeah. And I think it gives you like it's not the feeling of like, oh, you don't matter and you can go whenever and nobody's gonna notice your absence, or no, it's like a freedom. It's kind of like a weight off your shoulders. Yeah. Of feeling like, okay, everyone is gonna be all right and I am gonna be fine as well. Maybe you miss the attention or the relevancy or like or being in everybody's mind every week or whatever. Like people are gonna forget you kind of feel like but now that we have this group of friends also it doesn't feel that way. It doesn't feel like it's gonna happen like that, and that's also a good thing. The good thing about finding or making sure that you find real internet friends or like real online friends, that is like it's gonna feel okay if you step out of the online world.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And that's gonna stick and that's gonna stay there.
Yeah. Well, maybe next time we record a podcast.
Yeah, maybe
we'll let you guys know whether or not we
Definitely.
we did in fact stream, although both of us have not been very good at that lately. But anyways, well, I think that's it. This is gonna be a long one, but I hope you liked it.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for watching.
Thank you for putting up with our faces today.
I hope we were cute. Do let us know down below if you liked this kind of chatty, not as much gaming stuff.
Not as much gaming stuff.
But we both love talking shit. So this was fun for me.
Yeah, for me too.
So let us know if you liked it. And we will see you guys in the next episode. I don't know if there'll be another one before the end of the year, but we'll try.
But, maybe not. But we'll be back next year for sure.
But anyways. Oh. Thank you, producer Jan. I'm not wearing any sort of glasses. So.
Yeah, me neither. What does it say?
He was reminding us to rate, review.
Oh.
Getting there.
Yeah. Let her cook.
But yes, in case you've forgotten, don't forget to rate,
Rate,
review, comment down below,
comment on YouTube.
share, follow us on the gram. We don't post anything, but you should
We're
follow
gonna
us.
post things. We're gonna post things.
Send us an email at CozyGamerKat@gmail.com.
Say hi to us.
Yeah.
Let us know that you're there.
We so appreciate the comments. Honestly, it makes our day every time we get a new like comment or message or something. We immediately send it to each other.
Yeah, we send it to each other. Like, look. Someone a special shout out to someone who played Edith Finch.
Oh yeah.
Thanks to our recommendation. That is huge.
That's so
cool. We've been preaching the word of Edith Finch for so long.
Yeah.
Let me get the username. But yeah.
Yeah, that's huge. I'd love to know which games you guys played because of us.
Yeah, definitely. Vera Hester Plays.
Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for playing Edith Finch and for letting us know what you thought about it.
And I should mention too that if you ever want to know what games we are talking about during the podcast, Jack does link them all down below in the description or the notes bit of whatever app you're listening on. So if you ever want more details on the things we talk about, that's always down below. And yeah. Anyways, we're gonna go to a Christmas market, I think, or a museum or something. It's gonna be nice.
It's gonna be a nice day.
Oh, and follow us on socials. I'm CozyGamerKat.
I'm Jessie Haunted.
Follow us on.
And this is the CozyGamerKat.
What a cute intro.
Yeah.
Oh my god, we should cook that a bit. Anyways.
Bye,
everybody.
everybody.